For that one. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Chairman, Kenya Rugby Union, my captain Dan Sikuta, and my team manager Jimmy Mnene. I think before we name the team, it's always important to realize that we are in an amateur setup in the country, but we're competing against professional teams. Whether it's our athletes, whether it's our footballers, at this time it's the Kenya Simbas in the rugby team. So the sacrifices everybody has to make. Some are even very difficult to put into words. Jimmy has just mentioned families. Families do bear the brunt of this work. Even the chairman here will tell you, because his work is strictly voluntary. His position that looks to be part-time, but it's actually not, needs a lot of sacrifice and time. So mine is first to thank all the families, wives, partners, moms and dads, sisters and brothers and extended families, for allowing us to have time with your brothers, your husbands, so that they can actually go and do duty for the country. Really, the true heroes of this country are those who sacrifice so much to be able to put Kenya on a pedestal. And this campaign to get the Simbas to France next year is all about us, as a game of rugby, trying to change the narrative of how people view Kenya, how people view Africa. And this Currie Cup competition is a step in that direction. With the chairman here, there were many meetings. Should we go, should we not go? Do we have the money, do we not have the money? And the options were actually quite stark. If we do stay here, will we get access to high performance equipment, a high performance environment? But most importantly, who are we going to play to prepare us to play the likes of Senegal, Algeria, Uganda, Zimbabwe and Namibia? Because we need competition that's a lot harder than them. And really, it was quite simple that we need to get to South Africa, who are the world champions, and let's get matches. So I think it is mine as well to thank the Kenya Rugby Union, the Secretariat, led by Thomas Odundo as well, because I know the work that's gone on behind the scenes to make this possible, and we do not take it for granted. Granted, we're not like other unions who may have unlimited funds, but with the little that we have, we're going to do our best and make sure that Kenya Rugby gains the respect that it deserves after these 2.5 months. But the goal here is that on the 6th of July, when that final whistle blows in the south of France, it will be the Kenya Simbas who are joining France, the All Blacks and Italy in that next year. So without further ado, I'd like to name the touring squad. So number 1, Ian Jenga Karanja from Nondis. Number 2, Edward Moura Njuguna from Menengai Oilers. Andrew Peter Simenyu from University of Johannesburg. Coleman Were, Menengai Oilers. Brian Waraba, Kenya Harlequins. Patrick Ouko, KCB RFC. Ephraim Odwar, Cabras Sugar. Brian Juma, Cabras Sugar. Joseph Odero, Cabras Sugar. Oliver Mangeni, KCB. Thomas Okeo, University of Johannesburg. Clinton Odhiambo, Menengai Oilers. Joseph Shem, Cabras Sugar. George Nyambua, Cabras Sugar. Bethwell Anami, Strathmore Leos. Brian Amaitsa, Nondescripts RFC. Dan Sikuta, Cabras Sugar, who will also be the tour captain. Elkins Musonye from Impala, who's also going to be one of the vice captains. Samuel Asati from KCB RFC. Brian Tanga from Cabras RFC. Brian Wahinya from KCB RFC. John Ekubu from Cabras RFC. Andrew Matoka from Strathmore Leos. Timothy Omela from Menengai Oilers. Beldad Ogeta from Menengai Oilers. John Okot, Menengai Oilers. Vincent Onyala, KCB RFC. Peter Kilonzo, KCB RFC. Derek Ashiundu, Cabras Sugar. Jacob Oje, KCB RFC. Darwin Mukiza, KCB RFC. And Geoffrey Okwacho Minde from Menengai Oilers. A note here that Brian Dirangu from Menengai Oilers will be replacing Oliver Mangeni on the 21st of April, and Colin Zinjera will be flying out to join the team on the 1st of May to replace Jacob Oje, who will be coming back. And these are just the 2 changes that we'll be working with immediately, but there could be other changes based on injury from players who are in the larger squad. There is a larger squad, and we are looking to see if we can test as many players as possible between now and the 2nd of July. So we've got Edwin Sifuna from Cabras, who has not traveled due to school commitments. Teddy Akala as well from Cabras will be looking to see if he can join the team. Toby Frankom in Bogamere, Scotland. Davis Chenga of KCB, who tore his muscle last week. Manasi Odor of KCB. Emmanuel Silungi, who's engaged in studies in Israel, playing for Israel Rugby Club. Oscar Uma, who was in Russia, but as we all know, with everything that's happening in Russia and Ukraine, he's come back home now. Alex Aturo of Mwamba. Martin Owilo of KCB. Kevin Wekesa of Cabras, who's going to be with the 7th, and once he completes his tour of duty with the 7th, he'll be joining the Simbas. Crispin Shitundo of Menengai Oilers. Felix Ojo of KCB. Mark Mutuku from Notre Dame University, who's completing his final studies, and he'll be available to join us from the middle of May. Samson Onsomo, who has been our captain, he's been very unlucky. He had medical issues last year when we were touring in November, and he had a bad injury in the derby match when the Oilers were playing Nakuru. So we'll monitor his situation closely and see when he can join the team. Anthony Omondi, who's with the 7th, once he completes his tour of duty with the 7th, he'll be available to join us. He's from Mwamba. Owen Ashley of Cardiff University. Dominic Coulson of Exeter University. Walter Okoth of Cabras RFC. Max Omondi of Catholic University. Bryson Adak of Cabras RFC. William Ambaka, who was also in Russia, in the same club with Oscar Uma. He's now returned, and we'll be looking to see when to involve him. Jeffrey Mutuku of Notre Dame Athletic in the USA, and Isaac Diorogi of KCB. So you can see we have 23 players as well who we're looking to see if we can draft in. And in our discussions with the technical team, we may have the best players, but if we don't have the best team, then it will not work. So it is clear that we are going to try and develop as many players as possible, so that by the 11th of June, by the time we complete our Currie Cup campaign, when the chairman looks at me and asks me, do you know your best team, coach? I can be able to tell him, yes, we know our best team. So sometimes necessarily it's not about the best players, but it's about getting the best team. This indeed is a big step for us to get to the World Cup. And what I can assure Kenyan public and the rest of the rugby fraternity is that we are going to do our best to get us on that flight to France. Thank you.